Hello, I keep finding myself having to restart because a little bit of embarrassment. And on this today, we're going to talk about colic massage, which is generally, well, it's what I learned for helping babies. So I learned after my preemie was born, blessed, wonderful child, that I would have to learn a lot of things. CPR. She was early. I was having a good old time of the preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, and 2 months early. She came 6 weeks probably early. And so in my learning with the nurses and doctors, I learned colic massage, infant massage, and it was a wonderful training. She and I went through wonderful experiences of bonding, which we didn't get to have so easily after birth. We had an amazing pregnancy, so close, always communicating and calm. And then bed rest didn't do it. Protein was at 1,000. They had to take the baby out to get my body, the host, to stop rejecting the pregnancy. So infant massage was a great benefit that came out of that. I've been using it, didn't know then, but I'd have to end up using it on myself years later as a remedy for constipation. My constipation went away right after childbirth, in that my body turned on the switch for celiac disease. It wasn't my first autoimmune disease, but it's the one that came with that first after the birth. So with the celiac disease, I was elated. Constipation totally gone. I had no idea what was happening to me. I was wasting away in the gut. So not only did I probably already have malabsorption of my gut, but then I was becoming full-blown celiac. That blessed no constipation progressed years and years. Other things started happening. Regular progression of celiac disease, but that's another program to do. Someone has asked me for some help for getting their bowels to move. So my big aha for them is my massage that I do. They are a quadriplegic with use of hands. So I learned that quadriplegics have to do with which bone spine is broken, and not necessarily with that break if the arms don't work any longer. So that could happen to them, but they have use of the arms right now, and they also are not with any bags for urine or feces. So talking bluntly about bearing down and feeling the rectum and the anus, we will barrel on through with Miss Angel a explanation of ways that I, as a healed celiac, now face issues with the bowels, my own issues. But I've got a bag of tricks. With my bag of tricks, they start with so many things, but I'm really hot to talk on making sure everyone understands about the colic massage. I'm always telling people about the magnesium I am a firm believer in magnesium to help with bowel movements and sleep. I talk about it all the time because I can't stop talking all the time. If I can help, I always tend to want to say it. So my ideas for keeping bowel movements going, not sleep, but my first off, cannot miss it. Otherwise, I'm not going each day, and I have to go each morning because of my issues. So, magnesium. I would marry magnesium if I could. Lifesaver, game changer. 250 milligrams a day of the magnesium is what I take. If I've missed it or I have not purposefully made time to 100% make sure I can save time for a bowel movement in the morning, or I haven't done enough movement, or I didn't get up early enough to massage my bowel, which we'll go over, to make sure I have a movement, I'll end up, it's probably not safe, so don't end up doing that, now that you know, but I'll end up taking 500 milligrams. So it can have a negative effect, as can all minerals and essential fatty acids and vitamins if you're taking too many of them, just like if you're not taking enough of them. And I love magnesium. Game changer, lifesaver, probably, because of the way things exacerbate. That's right. So magnesium, castor oil. I'm gonna do, oh, it might be wrong. I'm putting that. Ooh, that is definitely wrong. Castor oil. I'll do like an episode of it. I fought it for years, even though I love Barbara O'Neill. Sometimes we just zap ourselves right in the crotch. We do it to ourselves. So yeah, I hear it from others. I recognize it as part of myself. So it always makes me a little angry. When you feel that getting angry, when I feel that getting angry, I try, hopefully, remind myself that I'm recognizing something in that person that I don't love about myself. Can't blame them for me not jiving on all the wonderful things they do. Castor oil. Yeah, my friend turned me onto it. Finally submitted. And my next phase is going to be actually ingesting it. And I was talking to a friend about that, this friend, and I'm gonna actually do the thing. We're supposed to have like 1 tablespoon or 3 teaspoons. You can have as much as 4 tablespoons. I'm gonna give it a try. So I'm very interested about the flavor. Totally 100% cold pressed, ready to be ingested. I'm gonna take the leap. And I'll do a whole thing about castor oil. And it may be OR. Not a speller. Mom's not a speller. She's a genius. So I always feel better knowing that my mom was a genius. And I finally figured out in my 40s that she can spell. Oh, the agony we put ourselves through. Okay, chia seeds. I got this one from my mom. I guess she always had chia seeds and chocolate around. I don't know if she got them in Mexico or Hawaii, but she had them at one of her homes, and these things are the bomb. And when you're using any of these, you gotta ingest a lot of water, because they're gonna really make you go to the bathroom, and that does take water. You can't cheat having a BM. So, chia seeds. I love the Tarahumara idea of having these overnight in water and then having the wonderful thing that they have where they sort of ferment it, and it gives them great energy pinots. I won't even say it. We'll do an episode about that too. Chia seeds. I use them ground in my smoothies, and I buy them and make sure they're put in everything that I buy from someone else, but don't use them enough. Every day would be great. Yeah. And let's see, I have a list. Okay, the chia seeds. Oh, movement. I'm gonna put movement. When I do my exercise, it definitely is working in collection with any chia seeds that I'm ingesting, but definitely my magnesium and my bowel massage, my colic massage. Infant colic massage for mom. Thank goodness. goodness. If it wasn't for one, I wouldn't have had the other situation. But yet, I can go ahead and thankfully use that movement massage, colic massage, to help move the bowels. So we have movement, exercise. Not to be confused with the BM movement, but this is exercise. Okay, exercise. Exercise, ladies and gentlemen, children, Lily. It prevents cancer. It prolongs life. It, yeah, you're gonna exercise. You're gonna do things. I've been taught it since you were in primary school. So, don't lose that. That was a real thing that was needed. That wasn't just appeared. Fun. And don't miss any of the castor oil, the chia seed. My foot just cracked. It collapses like my hands do. And I can put in some small bracelets that children make me by just collapsing my hand because of the EDS and getting things on. My foot does that somewhat. And I got these really wonderful runner high arches. Bummer. Because I can't take the impact. But boom, 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 boom. And then what we're gonna do today together is this I'm gonna say colic massage because I always do, but here I'm gonna write just bowel massage. Because calling it a colic massage is something internal for me. That means something important to me and my beautiful daughter. But it's a bowel massage. Gotta look past myself to make sure I'm presenting the way that people can learn and while being myself. But also, please tell me how I can better do that without being rude. Because, yeah, we all raise her energy, yeah. I raised my energy by spilling water all over while I was setting up for this. 2 phones, so 2 cameras, all the lighting, all the blocking, these beautiful panels from a friend, and a lot of waterfalls on the floor. Which first thing I did this morning was sweep it, and I felt so special for being so disciplined. Yeah, I'm getting disciplined about learning how to set up a scene to do these things. Have it look pretty. I have a little bit of music going on. Meditation music. I don't really want the music on right now, but it is New Year's Day, everybody's home, and so I'm feeling shy. So I put on a little music so that you wouldn't hear me so badly outside my apartment. Okay, and put that there. This is great stuff. This is pow. This is gravity, creating gravity for your life and your battle. So whether you are dealing with any of the inherent, good, it's a long list, autoimmune diseases or physical ailments or injuries from EDS or distraction in your life, whether it was just a life lesson you've chosen or just not the best of oxygen up to your brain, the bowels, so important. Feed them. When you're eating your food, you're feeding that bowel to keep that organ healthy. That thing is so flippin' large. You've heard the stories, I'm sure, of if you unravel it, how it's like a football field and all of that. Of connective tissue, of organ. Inside there is your villi. You've got to baby the villi. That's that carpety hair lining inside the bowel, large and small, or at least small, the 3 sections of the small bowel, duodenum, duodenum, and cerebellum. I don't know. They absorb your essential oils, your omega-3, 6, 9, all of your minerals, all of your vitamins, and so many of the ailments are happening from a bad progression of poison going into your bowel into the first of the 3 sections of your small intestine, and that wearing away or having malabsorption, and so you're either not sleeping well, or these can be the instance, or you are not having good enough bowel movements, or paying very good attention, or you have dry skin, or your hair's falling out. I mean, gosh, you need these things. So, celiac, stage 4 and 09, I had a lot of body damage. And that body damage over all those years, from 01 until 09, when it, I found out diagnosis from reading a book. How many doctors did I have? Bygones. Yeah, a lot of damage. So, I have a lot of knowledge about how to care for the body, and here we go. So this is the bomb. This is the best. This is pow. This is blowout for sure. And any of these are great. So this is what we're doing, and I think it's very important to recognize that this was for infants, and that we love infants, and sometimes, just like I learn so much from children, being an educator since 96, that we are learning from babies too. And babies need us. They need us to be smart for their bodies, so that their issues can be recognized right away. Always go to the pediatrician and check in with them, and just keep on it. Be that advocate for your children. Are they hypermobile? That's a thing. It can be diagnosed at whatever point. And then, are they having bowel problems? Are they so gassy? Is there an allergy? Is there an intolerance? What is going on with the health of that gut? We are so lucky right now. Medicine is exploding with knowledge that is just taken a little bit to the side or down to realize where problems come from. There's so much on the gut right now. It's exploding. It's a huge blowout in our knowledge base. And yeah, let's pass it down to our kids, our babies, and let's make sure we're learning from them so that we can catch up now that we know some good stuff. So, people talk about, with the infants, bringing the knees up, rotating the knees. There are all kinds of things with gait with babies and infants that we work with, but one of them is just getting those knees up and also rubbing them, making sure they're talked to, the babies, making sure the legs and extremities are rubbed, shown love, so they know not to be so scared. And then also with that, sort of a sweeping motion, and always tell the baby what you're going to be doing to them. They learn language that way. They help bond from you, not only because you are relieving their ailment and touching them kindly, maybe you're even their first number 1 oxytocin person, but you're giving them love and expressing, you're recognizing them through using their words. And everybody deserves, even babies know, to be told what is happening to their body as it's happening or beforehand. So I'm going to, hey baby, I love you so much. How are you? I care so much. I'm here for you. I'm going to rub my hands down your tummy. I sense you're not feeling well. You're sleeping so much, or whatever it is, you're crying. Oh, I'm here. I understand you're going through something. I'm not going anywhere. So that, just that sort of telling them what's going on, what you're thinking, what you're sensing. And this is nonviolent communication, and it's responsive, right? Think about it. You're only doing this because they're giving you the messages, or they're screaming. Oh, if they're screaming because colic is so painful, put in some earplugs. You can say that's illegal, right? But I always put in earplugs because I could respond to my child calmly, my higher self, if I wasn't getting that bucket, that sound bucket, overflowing and just losing it, or being upset, or taking the emotion from the chemicals coming out on my precious baby. That meant everything, and still does. So, just always my baby. Poor thing has to do with me calling her my lady all the time. Okay. I want to lay down, make sure you can see me, all the places, all the ways, and do the other thing that can happen. Sometimes I talk about doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 quadrants of the blood. You can think of it as a square. You can think of it as a heart. Just think about it. And just rubbing for 3 minutes, lightly, as goodness gracious, if it's a baby, or even yourself. A lot of the healing touches, like craniosacral, you don't have to do that very aggressively, not even aggressive at all. It can take 5 pounds to break a bone, or it can take just a feather of a touch to heal the body. Sometimes no touch. When I do Reiki, as a Reiki master, I generally don't even incorporate too much touch. Maybe the bladder point up in the neck, something like that. A fair, like, shoulder relaxing touch that you're going to begin, and you're asking questions for permission, that sort of thing. But I sometimes will ask the client if they want touch, or if it's easier for them that day or their situation that they have no touch. Reiki, you don't have to touch. So the next thing, and it's the last thing, is the big thing. It covers so much. Is the infant massage, and then the other half of that is how I adapted it to help my grown-up self and learn from people as I went. Okay, it sounds like 3 things. So it is, and I'll address right here, that I love, that's backward, and like a rainbow sweeping your hand over the baby. I was reading you. And this part right here, this is my right part of myself. This is, this is so much. This is thank you for knowing, right? Your solar plexus. And this is thank you for healing, which goes down to your thank you for growing, which comes up to thank you for healing and knowing. So this body, if you're going to get energy from the earth, if you're going to get healing from the universe, you've got to keep this gut happy, healthy, and all the chakras open for functioning well for yourself. Are you communicating through your voice? That's a big one. Is your spine straight? Whether you're going to a chiropractor or straighten yourself out before you get up in bed. All the things. You're exercising your strengths inside and in your heart by communicating, feeling, thinking, trusting your gut, connecting it to your heart. Okay, so the I is like the universe,
the bowel, it's sort of a turn. It's a hard right turn, and it is part that can really get backed up. And it's a famous part of your bowel if you're a celiac. Here's why. You have about 6 inches there that's gonna die. So it will either need to be taken out, or it will, if you've been stage 4 for sure, atrophy. It doesn't want to pass. It collects food, it gathers food, it gets too dry in there, and it's not contracting. It's not contracting to get all that feces through. So this right here, that eye, it's got to start there. And notice with the love, you're coming right back there. And then with the U, you're starting there again. So important. So this is I love you. Let's start with this every day after my chiropractic stretches or before I hit the floor out of bed. And you do that, I love you, either hand. Create all the power, switch on and off 15 times. And adult or baby or not at all, if you're an adult, I go right to quite usually the 30 circles. And you can start here just to call attention. That is so important with the I love you part. But this has gotta go up so that everything else can make it circle. This hard part in the morning, because I have an evening window, I eat 4 hours at night. If I have not had the whole 4 hours and I punched it all up, so I could get to bed on time, or I didn't have enough water, didn't drink my gallon. I don't necessarily drink with food. You want to hydrate your body all day. I will feel that stuck in the morning. I don't even have to touch it. I can feel it stuck. Not contracting, not passing it through for whichever reason. So I will just, I guess, more like not the 3 hours and the 3 hours, but I will just go these 4 hours. Say this 4-hour window, 6 inches. And I'll kind of, just massage it around a circle there. And then I will push it up. And then I'll start my circles. Don't usually have to do so many circles. The other parts that are important is you have bowel all over the place. We are so many feet of bowels. So you can go ahead and roll over here. This is a lot of help. You can sit on the toilet and do this laying down, sitting down. And over here, you're relaxing them and you're helping them move. And lastly, I like to remind myself that I can do this.
It's an important skill. Lastly, we're gonna go to the back. You wanna breathe into your back, you wanna breathe into your sides, of course down here. As you fill up with your breath work, with the bowel, you can come back here too. And I'm gonna pivot around. Yeah. So this you can continue. Remember, we're rubbing the sides as well. And look at what's happening to my fascia right now. Maybe it's not as nitty gritty as that cruel brush, but it's getting some attention, my fascia. It is leveling out where maybe a tension in your day or an old injury wants to make this, because you're so bendy, start to do this a little bit every year. Your shoulders are getting lopsided. You're pulling to that one side, whether it's an injury or just because you bend. I know this leg doesn't go behind my head as easy as this leg, although they both still do. Probably because this is my compacting leg. In soccer, I would land here and then kick here. So I have different patterns of injury in the two legs, planting foot, kicking foot, even though I'm a lefty. So I know they have different mobility for back behind to hyperextend. So you never know which side your body is going to choose is its lesser limber side and pull the fascia into a knot or just gaping the webbing somewhere. So it's good to brush the fascia, but look at, I'm also getting in circulation and love and recognition while I do this. No pow here. Easy does it. You can rub right here. Sometimes during a workout, if I've got a tension, I will just back and forth or flat palm. This feels really good to your partner too. If you do that, they don't realize they're so tight down there and just walk up. May I always ask permission, unless you two have an understanding about this. And rub right there. Like, oh my gosh. It's almost like when I used to walk up to my employees and I would just rub right here. Increase the circulation. Just rub it. Just back and forth. There's that skin. Extra skin. Bye, Sonic. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, how did you know I needed that? Well, whatever, but maybe everyone does. And then sometimes I know things. But that, and then on the toilet, sometimes if I've missed a day, it didn't take the time to make sure I had a movement. I'm gonna cut that off someday. I will rub back here and really improve my odds. So, even on the toilet, in the bed, don't forget to take your magnesium. Maybe you do the wonderful chia seeds in water, and whether that they expand and you drink it, or whether that they do the fermenting thing, which I guess is very healing, and perhaps it takes on like a chemical change to do some other types of healing, or you're swallowing castor oil in the recommended dose. Feel free to consult your doctor. It will help you. And consulting your doctor doesn't have to be an appointment. Write them a message. Hey doc, I'm gonna start taking castor oil. I'm taking 1 tablespoon today. You know, or you can be like, I want to start this. Thumbs up? Or they have questions for me? Or are they just like, no, remember you can't because of that medicine? Make sure you communicate with your doctor. Some people are on medicines. That you will go ahead and be doing all the things all the day long that are your gimmick to make sure your bowels are evacuating each day. I heard different things like 3 meals in, 3 movements out. I eat once a day, but I have to say pretty regular, like a 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or 7 o'clock, or whatever my schedule is. Do you see my head just goes off the board? Okay. Yeah, my schedule that I need to do for work will definitely decide with my body what time I'm going to the bathroom every day. But gotta go every day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know the person, the quadriplegic who is needing to evacuate, have the bowel movements without any kind of a bag. Yay! It's so wonderful. Is able to have that collective intelligence experience with me when we talk about this over the phone. So we keep coming up with more, or my brain keeps on coming up with more. Two people connecting, whether it's with your coach or advocate, or a friend or your doctor, or someone you feel comfortable, that feels comfortable with you learning from them. When you're connecting, you're making the result greater than you could have had on your own. Okay? Spurring memories, spurring inspiration, being smarter than the two of you are separately. It's a big pow, a big aha when you communicate with others. That's very important. Make sure you have someone, whether it's an advocate gift or a position, you have a mentor. Make sure you have those people that you're talking to. Books you can talk to, webinars you can talk to. Books are a beautiful experience, one of the only experiences you can have purely alone in your mind. But yet, are you alone when you're reading a book? I think there are a lot of other people in the room when you're reading a book. A lifetime. So, shoots, thank you for joining me. I'm going to make a smaller video to send to the person of need for the topic. And I hope you can get something good out of this one. Enjoy your day. Do something beautiful for yourself. Remember, you're giving to the world and living a life in the world, not just holding on. Or I have about 7,000 students that will tell me not to sit like that because I don't let them sit like that. Take care of those knees. Lemons. But there's a life inside of you that needs to be loved, and creating that balance inside is going to give you all the time and spirit and energy from this light you're fueling, this fire that's burning to want you to come outside of yourself and do your good in the world. So, trauma, yeah, use it to change your perspective, flip the script, and make it your fuel to let your light shine. Have a great day. Shoots.